Hi, this is Tim from Garden Hands. Today we've started a project, or we're going to start a project for the home farm here. We're going to be putting up these hay racks that are a 44-inch wide hay rack. I think they're going to be somewhat heavy, but on our fence, it's an aluminum fence out there. And I think what we're going to do is have the post be in the middle of this, so it'll hang in, and their post will be in the middle, versus having this whole thing in the middle of two posts and weighing down on that span. I think that'll work a little bit better. So we'll try and make two brackets. Just happen to have some steel on hand. This is 1-inch flat iron, cold rolled flat iron by 1 inch by 1/8 inch thick. So our plan is to make a piece that'll stand up in right next to it, and a piece that'll go over the top, and another piece down the back side of the rails on the fence. And we'll put a hole in the one up and down portion. It'll be easier to see when we do it. We'll have a bolt that sticks out that these can hang on. Those two pieces will go alongside of the fence. We'll probably sandblast them and paint them, and then we can leave those pieces out there year round and you won't hardly notice them if they're black. It'll match the fence. And I just got a feeling that if we got these hay racks out there, that somebody will probably think we should have them out there in the winter time, and we'll fill them full of small LED lights for a Christmas decoration. And maybe a fall decoration. Just got a feeling these are going to be kind of a part. But anyway, these are heavy. They're well made. They must be a powder coated or plastic coated, maybe even. So they're made well. It seems like they're going to last. If we can get them hung up so that they don't hurt the fence, that'll be the thing. And we're going to get at that. So we'll get some pieces made up, one mocked up a little bit, and we'll go out and try it. And then we got 6 of these to hang, so we got to make 12 pieces. I guess for tools for this, obviously we'll use a tape measure. We'll have to do some welding. We'll have to use the ironworker to cut these. I've got that set to the right length. We'll switch over there and we'll cut a couple of these pieces and see what we can do. We'll put a punch in that, and then we can punch some holes where we're gonna need some screws. So we'll get started on that. So we'll set up the ironworker here to, first we'll set it for cutting this length here, so we'll cut this to length. So here's our piece of steel here that's sticking through from the other side. We just made a jig that a threaded rod threads into, and we have a stop that we can move any place on this. So I set that to 7.5 inches. We needed 7 inches, but I want to be a 1/2 inch long on that. So this is set at 7.5 inches. So we'll slide our steel through and we secure it down just a little bit, just so it's snug. So I got 2 pieces that are 7 1/4. We'll change 7.5 to 7 1/4. These 2 pieces will fit on each side of the fence, and then I'll have a piece in between them that's 1 1/16 or 1 1/8. I think that was. We're going to measure that again out there. Once we get that done, we'll put a hole in it about here, or where there's a rail. We'll put a hole in there, and we'll put a hole in there. We'll go back to our tech screw box, and we'll put a tech screw through it to hold it on that rail. Then we'll come and put a 1/4 inch bolt, I think, through here. I think a 1/4 will do that, maybe a 5/16. We'll drill a 5/16 hole, and maybe I'll tap that hole so we can just screw in a piece of ready rod into that 5/16 hole, and that'll stick out 1 1/4 maybe. And then we'll put a nut on that with a washer, and that basket will just clip or just hang onto that with that washer. Will hold it all right, I think. They'll be heavy enough, we won't worry. So I'll punch those holes with a 1/4 inch punch, and then we'll tap them. So we'll switch that out too. Yes, we can switch that out right now. So we'll switch out, I think I was punching some 1-inch holes the other day and something. We got this ironworker probably 6 or 7 years ago. Jody bought it for my birthday. And we don't use it a lot, but we have used it quite a bit. It's so handy to, if you're fabricating something in a mount in a tractor cab, you can come over and cut a piece and then just cut a little bit more. You can it's got a feature on it to put in to bend stuff. It takes more time to put that in, but you can cut stuff and you can punch holes so quick with it. It's really handy. So to switch out a die, a punch, it takes a little longer than switching out a drill bit in a drill, but if you're going to make more than 1 or 2 holes, once you get this set, and we've got a guide, we have a guide that we put on here so you can slide it in and have it set, or a jig I guess I should say, and set it in, and you can just keep punching holes in the same location one after another, and it's so quick and accurate that it is kind of convenient. And okay, she didn't give it to me for my birthday, but I kind of thought she did. It's sort of like a birthday. It was a birthday present to me. And tools like this, they don't depreciate. If you take care of these, grease them, maintain them, keep them clean and dry, they last. This will last me forever, and it's still worth what you paid for it. They're kind of a desirable tool. So there, I switched it out to a 1/4 inch. So now we're gonna take these 2 pieces, we'll go out there and we'll go out and see what we need exactly for dimensions. So these pieces won't be seen. So it'll be about what it looks like, except for there's a piece on top, and then we'll put a hole in it here. So that should work out pretty good. There. I think we got this one. This is a prototype maybe, but this one looks like it's going to work. So next we're going to go out and double check this to make sure our holes are going to line up where we need them to. And I'll put it in the sandblast cabinet, and we'll probably paint these so they're black. We'll smooth up our welds a little bit if we need to, or whatever sharp edges we have from the shear. One thing about the shear, when you use it, you do have to take a sanding disc or a grinding disc and go across your edges to make sure that none of those they do get a little bit of a sharp, not sharp edge, but a shear edge to them. So we take that and just buff each one, and each time you weld, you have to take this mill slag, they call it. You have to take that off there so that you can weld easy. Otherwise, this piece seems to lay down kind of decent and flat. We'll get it painted, we'll get our bolts put in there, put our tech screws in, and we should be able to hang these up. So now we're going to take these back to the sandblast cabinet, and we'll sandblast all the mill slag off of these, get them good and clean so they'll accept paint, and they're easier to weld also. So here's a view inside the cabinet. There's two pair of gloves there. This is a 2-station unit. We shut the door, which is right there on the end of it. Here's the glass we look into. We turn on a switch which runs a filtration system and the lights. I don't know if you can see the difference between the two. There's a difference in them, but we'll get them all cleaned up here. We've got all of our pieces cut or sheared to the right length, or we hope it's the right length. These are all welded up now. They welded pretty good. We made a little bit of a jig, as you can see there, just a little stand to put them against, and then use that magnet to hold the end on, and a piece of cardboard seemed to make them about the right length. So now I'll take and grind around all the weld. Sometimes when you weld a real short weld like that, I don't do as nice a job, so we'll get them cleaned up, and then we'll get a piece of cardboard laid out and get them sprayed with a primer for tonight. We'll let them dry and paint them some black tomorrow, and maybe we'll hit them with a couple coats of black a couple different days, so we got a good coating of paint on them, and they should be ready to hang up. We have our brackets made and painted, so now we're going to put a bolt into them one that has a washer on it. So it will look like this when it's there, and you'll see what it looks like a little bit better when we get them done. Okay, so we have 2 of these on, and our basket will sit like this. We will end up with a zip tie on each side just to make sure that this doesn't, I don't see why it would, but just in case it would jiggle and get off of there. And this will go in. So the cocoa liner is in there. We don't have any potting soil in this one yet. We just put some plants that are in a container that we haven't put in the ground yet. It was 28 degrees last night, so we're not going to plant these for another 3 weeks probably before it's safe enough to plant these. But this is what it will look like on the fence, and there'll be one of those at each post on the front, on the other side of the pool here, where next to the road, so people can see them. So I think it's mission accomplished. I think we're ready to go on this one. So thank you for watching. Remember to click like and subscribe, and stay with us when we start our next project.